Sarah and Jake were so excited. They both loved nature and had planned a long hiking trip together. Their goal was simple: to enjoy the outdoors and take in all its beauty. The thought of walking through scenic trails and spending quality time was something they both looked forward to. But they never thought that a simple photo would turn their whole trip upside down. Before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. Recently, Jake had been buried in work, often pulling late nights and barely having weekends. The weight of his demanding job made this escape to nature even more crucial for him. The fresh air and open trails were just what he needed to relax. But relaxation wasn't quite what was in store for them. On their first hike, the couple wandered through beautiful places. They passed tall mountains and walked by the side of calm rivers and babbling streams. Every step brought a new and lovely sight. The vast landscapes made them pause and appreciate their surroundings, feeling grateful for this special journey together. On a particularly beautiful hill slope, with the vast landscape stretching behind them, Sarah pulled out her phone. "Let's capture this moment," she said. They snuggled close, smiling wide, and took a selfie. They wanted to share this special moment with their friends, showing them the beauty they were experiencing. After taking the selfie, Sarah quickly posted it on her social media with the caption, "Nature's beauty with my favorite person." As likes and comments began to pour in, they slipped the phone back into the backpack and continued their hike, not knowing what the comments would say about their first vacation picture. Sarah's eyes widened as she read the comment, a mix of surprise and confusion clear on her face. Jake, noticing her reaction, leaned in with concern. "What's up? Why do you look so shocked?" he asked, trying to get a glimpse of the message that had caused such a strong reaction. Taking a deep breath, Sarah turned the phone screen towards Jake. "Look at this comment," she said, pointing. "Tom thinks he sees something odd in the background of our picture." Jake squinted, focusing on the distant scenery behind their smiling faces. "What is he talking about?" he wondered aloud, equally puzzled. Sarah scrolled to Tom's exact comment, reading aloud. "Is that a massive animal behind you guys? Looks even bigger than a bear." Jake leaned in, his eyebrows furrowing in confusion. Neither of them had noticed anything while hiking. The idea of a creature that size being nearby was both exciting and unnerving. The area they had hiked was popular and wasn't known for large wildlife, certainly not anything bigger than the typical deer or fox. Sarah and Jake exchanged glances, their curiosity piqued. Could it just be a trick of the light or shadows? Sarah wondered. Jake shrugged. Maybe, but now I really want to know. Their discussion deepened as they zoomed in on the photo. The animal's outline was undeniably larger than any creature they knew of. "It's massive, almost like something from prehistoric times," Jake mused. Sarah nodded in agreement, adding, "Or maybe a creature from folk tales." The mystery was becoming more intriguing by the minute. As minutes passed, Sarah's phone buzzed continuously. Multiple friends and even strangers chimed in on Instagram, all pointing out the mysterious figure in the background. "I see it too." One comment read, while another joked, "Did you guys find Bigfoot?" The online buzz only fueled their curiosity and wonder about the shadowy figure. One comment in particular caught their eye. "Looks like an elephant," it read. Sarah laughed. "An elephant here? That's just impossible." Jake agreed, chuckling. "We're not on a safari." But as amusing as the suggestion was, it made them wonder even more. What could possibly resemble such a massive creature in these woods? At the front desk, Sarah approached the young receptionist with her phone in hand. "Excuse me," she began, showing her the Instagram post. "We took this picture during our hike today. Some friends think they see a large animal in the background. Do you know anything about this?" She hoped someone local knew something about it. The receptionist took a moment to look at the photo, her eyes narrowing as she tried to make out the shape. Then, with a chuckle, she handed the phone back. "An animal that size here? Impossible, ma'am," she said with a dismissive smile. Sarah felt a mix of relief and slight embarrassment, but still wasn't fully convinced. Feeling somewhat deflated, Sarah turned around to leave the front desk. As she walked, her steps echoed slightly in the hotel's tiled hallway. Unfortunately, the receptionist's reaction had left her with more questions than answers. With each step, she tried to shake off her disappointment until she reached the corner. Before Sarah turned the corner, she heard the receptionist quickly pick up her phone and dial someone. Curious, Sarah stopped walking and stayed hidden, trying to listen. The receptionist's voice sounded nervous, but Sarah couldn't hear exactly what she was saying. Sarah walked back to the room and shared the story with Jake. "It was strange," she began, explaining the receptionist's phone call and her sudden shift in behavior. Jake looked puzzled. "That's unexpected," he remarked. Both sat, sipping their drinks, wondering what was really going on with this enormous creature. The next morning, after a quiet breakfast, Sarah and Jake felt the pull of curiosity. They laced up their hiking boots, packed some snacks, and set out. "Let's go back to where we took the photo," Sarah suggested. Jake nodded in agreement. They were determined to get to the bottom of this mystery. With binoculars swinging around their necks and cameras in hand, Sarah and Jake headed for a path leading to the river's opposite side. They remembered the mysterious shape being on that distant bank. The idea was simple: get a closer look and maybe even snap a clearer photo. The air was thick with anticipation. With each rumble, they felt a faint vibration in the ground under their feet. Sarah gripped Jake's arm tightly, her eyes wide with both fear and curiosity. They couldn't see the source, but they could feel it. They kept standing still in the same spot as where they spotted the animal in the photo. Sarah's anxiety began to bubble up. "Jake, maybe we should turn back," she whispered, glancing around nervously. Jake, although uneasy, was also deeply intrigued. "Let's just go a little further," he replied, his voice filled with a mix of caution and curiosity. Reluctantly, Sarah agreed, and they pressed on together. The mysterious rumbling grew louder, and it seemed to be coming from the dense woods nearby. Jake, drawn by the sound, began moving towards the trees. "Jake, wait up," Sarah called, not wanting to be left behind. Hesitating for just a moment, she then followed him, entering the shadowy forest. Sarah and Jake stopped, looking around nervously. The woods were so quiet. They could hear their own breathing. Everything felt strange and a bit scary, like they were in a movie. They waited hoping to hear the sound again, but all they could hear was the distant chirping of birds. Sarah laughed when a curious bird startled them, thinking the mystery was solved. But as the woods grew quiet again, a clear, low, human yell broke the stillness. Their momentary relief vanished, replaced by unease. What was happening in these woods? They were clearly not the only people in there. They exchanged a quick look, their hearts racing. Without a word, they both started running towards the sound. The leaves crunched loudly under their feet, and branches brushed against their arms as they sped through the forest. That distant yell kept pushing them forward, even as their breaths grew short, and fear tightened their chests. They pushed through the trees and suddenly found themselves in a small, open space. There, under the moonlight, was something huge and mysterious. It was like a big shadow. They couldn't believe their eyes. What they saw there was something Sarah and Jake vaguely saw before, but now in real life, and it was huge. Right in the middle of the clearing, they saw a massive creature. It was at least 5 times their size, covered in fur and with a long tail. Its presence was both impressive and a bit intimidating, making their hearts race as they tried to make sense of what they were seeing. At first sight, the enormity of the creature made it hard to distinguish any details. But as Sarah squinted, her eyes caught something intriguing. Was that really what she thought it was? Or were her eyes actually deceiving her? Her curiosity deepened, urging her to investigate further. Upon approaching the massive creature, Sarah discovered it wasn't alive. Its fur felt synthetic, and a metallic harness gleamed in the moonlight. Realizing it was likely a prop or sculpture, her fear transformed into confusion. Sarah and Jake jumped, not expecting the sudden laughter. The older woman, chuckling softly, looked at them with twinkling eyes. "Sorry for the shock," she said. The couple, trying to catch their breath, asked, "What's happening here?" They hoped she had some answers. More people came out of the trees, making the area crowded. As Sarah and Jake tried to move, they found themselves surrounded on all sides. Everywhere they looked, unfamiliar faces stared back at them. The clearance was now filled with people holding cameras, phones, and all kind of unfamiliar objects. Then the older woman started walking towards Sarah and Jake. She kept smiling, but it didn't make the couple feel any easier. When she was right in front of them, she said, "Don't be scared. The beast is harmless." Sarah and Jake looked at each other, still wondering what was going on. As more people appeared and started conversing among each other, the woman started to explain. "From the outside, it may look very weird, but we're just appreciative of nature." Sarah and Jake looked more confused than ever, with question marks upon their face. "But what about the rumbling sounds that we kept hearing?" Sarah asked without hesitation. The woman smiled again and pointed at some machinery behind the creature's legs. Sarah and Jake sighed in relief. It was all orchestrated, and there was nothing to be scared about. But why was everyone so secret about it? Then Jake thought about how Sarah went to the front desk of the hotel and started explaining to the woman what happened. The receptionist's weird response, who called someone very nervously right after she claimed nothing was wrong. To this, the woman laughed out loud. "She called me," she said. "This might be a festival, but it's a very local and secretive tradition," she started to explain. "We do not prefer to have outsiders looking in, because our traditions mean everything to us. There's already little room to celebrate and appreciate nature in today's society." Sarah and Jake could understand that and nodded accordingly. Sarah and Jake looked at each other and nodded again. The woman's face relaxed. "Since we would like the festival to stay a local tradition and secret, please don't share any of this on social media or with your friends," she spoke. "It would deeply sadden us." The couple totally understood this and agreed. They would never tell a soul, and so they promised the older woman to even take down the selfie they uploaded the day before. After this, the older woman invited them to stay. This, Sarah and Jake didn't have to think about. It was a marvelous opportunity to witness something truly unique. Sarah and Jake enjoyed every second of that day. Performances were given, art was displayed, and the food, prepared by all different kinds of local, was splendid. It felt like the day would never end, and this was a once-in-a-lifetime experience they were very grateful for. But they never told another soul.